Namaste, mero naam Ali Ho. I am in my 7th week of a 2-month internship at Nepal Realistic Solution, where I'm working as a consulting intern. I'm from Scotland and I recently graduated from the University of Glasgow, where I studied economics. I'll be presenting on how to prepare a business plan outline, and for this I'll be talking about Padnis, which is an educational portal which allows individuals to research colleges and universities as well as hostels in the Kathmandu area. So I have chosen to structure my plan like this. So this is a broad overview of what I will include in the business plan. Now I'll go through each section in more detail. So the first section of the business plan is the executive summary. So this is like a high-level summary. It's important that this is written well so it captures the reader's attention. Important part of this section is that it outlines the mission statement, the goals and the values of the organisation. As this is the first part of the business plan, it is very important as it summarises the key points and outlines the rest of the document. So the company description starts with some basic information about the business. So what is the official name of the organisation, where is it located, and how many employees are at the company. So an important part of this section is a description of the problem that the business solves and the customers that it serves. So for Padnis, lots of students tend to take a long time researching their educational options. So Padnis basically tries to overcome this by allowing one centralised platform where everyone can access all the colleges and educational facilities that they need in one site. So in a way, it acts like a middleman, connecting buyers and sellers in a market, or in this case, connecting students with educational institutions and hostels. So this section describes the service that is on offer and the benefits it provides to customers. So some of this section overlaps with the last section, however the focus now is more on the service rather than the business as a whole. So like I explained earlier, Padnis provides a service to students. However, they also provide a service to educational institutions. Unlike students, they have to pay for this service. So a university or college will have to pay an annual fee in exchange for advertisement and exposure on Padnis' website. Another part of this section is to gain a detailed understanding of how this service differs from others in the market. So when writing the business plan for Padnis, it's very important to outline how Padnis is a unique educational portal when compared to others such as EduSanjal or College MP. So this is a shorter part of the business plan. So for Padnis, like every other organisation, this should start with some information on the structure of the firm. It would then move on to the management team, so who is in charge of the organisation and what is their background and experience. You can also include some information on other team members who work within the organisation and display this in an organisational chart so it's clear on everybody's roles and responsibilities within the company. You can also include some information on the legal and compliance side of the business, just to ensure that everyone knows that you're acting legally and in line with regulation. So the market analysis is a longer section in the business plan. So this can be split into 5 key sections. So first is industry description and outlook. So this begins by looking at the current state of the market and where it is headed. So this would need to include some statistics, such as market trends and industry growth rates. It's important to include this part in the market analysis, as when you're pitching to investors, it lets them know that you know what you're talking about and you've done your research. So market segmentation involves dividing up a market of potential customers into groups or segments depending on certain characteristics. Once you've done this, you can then identify your target market. So who is your ideal customer or client? For this, you need to include some demographics. For Padnis, you'd be looking at 18 to 19-year-old students looking to go to college or university in the Kathmandu area. You'd also need to include some details on the size of the market and their spending patterns. So for Padnis, you'd be looking at the incoming student population and how much they're willing to spend on further education. You can then conduct market research with users of your service. This can be done through focus groups, interviews, or surveys, for example. This allows you to discover your target market more and receive feedback about your service. Finally, there is competitive analysis. So this is basically a deep dive in terms of analysing your competitors. So what is their strengths and weaknesses? Also included in this section is barriers to entry. So how difficult or easy is it for other firms to enter the market? So for example, if your company has high research and development costs, or if a company has access to technology or has a strong brand name, then this may deter others from entering the market. So you can see that market analysis is a very important step in the overall business plan, as it allows you to gain more information on your target markets in order to make more informed decisions in the future. Having completed your market analysis, you can then move on to marketing strategy. So I'll focus here on the classic 4 P's of marketing. So these are product, price, place and promotion. Because Padness is a service, you need to add in 3 more. So these are people, physical evidence and process. So to give an example, an important consideration for Padness is promotion. So how do you promote the website? This is related to pricing. So an important consideration is how do you get enough traffic on the website in order to make it worthwhile for colleges and universities to pay the fee for advertising. They won't pay if no one visits the website. So there needs to be an effective promotional strategy in place. Padness should probably leverage its social media to increase its reach and grow the business, especially as the demographic is young students who tend to use social media. Further down the line, there definitely could be the option of using student ambassadors who visit colleges and campuses around Kathmandu to advertise Padness and explain how it helped them get into their chosen college. So for this section, I will talk about a commonly used business tool for strategy, and this is Swot Analysis. So I'll now talk about how that applies to Padness. So a strength of Padness could be that the data is very up to date, and this can allow Padness to offer a better, more tailored service. So a potential weakness of Padness could be that as it is a relatively young firm, it may not have the same level of resources as a larger or more established company. For example, it's very hard and time-consuming to collect data on all the hostels in the Kathmandu area. An opportunity is definitely that further education is expanding. So since 2000, enrolment in tertiary education has nearly tripled, meaning this is a growing market with lots of opportunity. Finally, a threat. Now this could be any economic or market condition, or potentially any social or political change which could negatively impact Padness. So in terms of implementation, SWOT analysis is a great technique for coming up with new strategies, as it focuses on leveraging your strengths and opportunities to overcome weaknesses and threats. So the final part of the business plan is the financial projections. Financial projections are arguably the most important parts of any business plan, especially when you're pitching to new clients or investors. This is because you need numbers to back up your proposal. So the following financial forecasts and projections are generated usually for the next 3 to 5 years. So first up there is the sales forecast, and this is a prediction of future sales revenue. In order to produce a sales forecast which is reasonably accurate, you need to have a good understanding of industry and market trends. But then there is the income statement, and this shows the revenues, expenses or profits over a given period. This is useful as it indicates whether your business is profitable or not in any given period of time. So cash flow projections breaks down an estimate of how much money is expected to come into your business and how much is expected to go out. This is useful as it indicates which expenditures are too high and whether or not your business needs capital investment. Finally, there is the balance sheet. Now this summarises the business's net worth and separates data into assets, liabilities and equity. And the balance sheet is usually prepared once per year. So you can include other financial statements and projections, however the 4 I just mentioned are the most important for any business plan. So you can see that financial projections are very important externally to obtain funding and investment. However, it's also very important internally as an estimate of how your business will perform and as a guide for future spending and investment decisions. So these are all the sections I would include in my business plan for Padness. Starting a business plan and actually writing one can be a very daunting task. However, if you have a structured plan, just like the one I've shown to you, then this can make your life a lot easier. Dhanyavad.